chatter. So I wasn't pushing it fast.
Hey everyone, Brian and Jeff with WorkshopAddict.com, and we are going to go over the new Skilsaw SPT88-01 worm drive dual bevel 12-inch miter saw. We're going to take you top to bottom through this because this is going to fit some people, but not everyone. And there's going to be some people that are going to be like, yeah, I can make that work. And some that are going to be like, hell with that.
Exactly. I mean, for $630, if you have to finesse something one way or another.
How much?
$630.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So are you going to have to, or should you, or would you want to have to finesse certain things to make this saw work the way you want it?
And I hate to be that way. We feel like that's a lot of money when you compare it to what you can get for different models that are out there. And granted, this guy's got some power.
It does have power. It's got a few different options with your depth of cut that you can make some more cuts with it, but it's a lot of money.
We also ran across an issue with it with chattering.
Yes.
And we'll get into that a little bit later. We switched blades, still ended up with a lot of chatter. So we'll show you some cut quality, but stick with us as we dive in and we'll start to walk you through the good, the bad, and the ugly of this Skilsaw. We're gonna start out with the fences in being 90 degrees. If we're in here, you can see very significant movement as we move out. Still significant movement as we get to the end of the fence. Still not a 90. That's not adjustable.
The second part about the fence, which is adjustable for making your bevels and your miters, is the adjustable fence. But when you adjust it, it's all kinds of sloppy.
And even on this side, when it's fully in, it's sloppy. And when you move it all the way out, it never gets better.
No, and this one the same way, when it's all the way in.
And all the way out.
Not good.
One of the big benefits of having a worm drive here is that you have a huge opening to run wood through. So you have relief of almost 6.5 inches. So if you want to cut any type of baseboard or anything standing straight up, you can run that right through and have zero issue cutting it straight up against the fence. We think it's really nice how they put the extensions in. There's always a possibility of bending one of these things, but they slide out nice.
Right out of the box though, they're not overly level. I mean, they're giving you support as an added table, but don't rely on them for a 90-degree cut.
The lock for the bevel system is in the back. You can then bevel to the left all the way to 48 degrees. And you have sliding detents at 45, 30, 3.9, and 22.5. That will stop you anywhere you'd like. You do have an adjustable nut if they are not correct. And if you come back, it will lock you in at 0 and you can lock back up and be ready to go. If you want to bevel to the right, you release the detent lock, and again, you have your same sliding stops on the right, along with a nut that will allow you to adjust it if they're not right. Come back, lock her in place, you're at 0.
Brian just walked you through the bevel options on this. The only bad thing we came into was the sawdust tends to build up on these, and when you slide it over to make a bevel, you'll actually have sawdust pinched in the adjuster nut. So just make sure you clean them off when you're making bevel cuts.
When you think worm drive, you're thinking pure power.
Unfortunately, along with that pure power, you're going to get some noise.
Significant, irritating noise in a way.
Continual use of this, you're definitely going to want some earplugs.
And what we did to get a little bit more of a secondary opinion on this is take it over to one of our contractors' places and let them use the saw and have them go through it. We had an electrician in the other room come out and complain about the noise that this was making, asking if it was a jet engine.
So for you guys that are working outside, it might be a little bit more bearable, but inside a house, it was quite loud.
Yeah, on our phone, this topped out at 86 decibels without cutting. And I don't know that that decibel level is the annoying part. It's actually the tone,
pitch of it, yeah.
The pitch, and that's exactly it. So one of the real downsides, if you're gonna use this in the house to cut over and over and over again, we feel at the end of the day, you might not be overly thrilled with the sound.
It's gonna be annoying. I think the best thing about this miter saw is you do have 50 to left, 60 degree to the right, but as rock solid as these detents and the table actually is, there's no slop whatsoever. It's got an old school lock for your in-between cuts, but it's still just solid.
The D handle is very comfortable with a little bit of rubber overmold in your palm. Safety switch is easy to grab onto. It's not ambidextrous, but it works pretty easily either way. And you have an on and off switch for your shadow line. And that shadow line is excellent. You can't bump it out of position. And when you change blades, everything's right there. And it's easier to see outside than a laser. On the right side of the saw, you have a depth stop. You flip it down and it will stop. Flip it up, allow you for full cuts. And you can adjust it. There's a wing nut on the bottom to lock your adjustment lever in place. So through any vibrations, it won't move. Very simple and easy to use.
The dust collection on it is so-so. It's easily removed. It does have, you can set it in different positions. It's kind of hard to get it back on exactly where it needs to go. It's got a good sized bag.
It's just finicky.
Yeah, I would like something a little bit more solid for holding the bag on.
Changing the blades, really simple. There's an arbor lock on the right-hand side. Roll your guard out of the way, and there's a tool that you can get inside and change it. It's an actual Allen wrench. Now, the bad part is this guard does not lock into place. So you have to hold the guard up, hold your blade lock into place, and then work on this nut. It's not impossible, but if there was a lock for this guard to hold it up out of the way, it would make it a lot easier. Now we had to change the blade when we found some of the chatter cutting through the 4x4s in some of the hardwood. And that really didn't help.
No, changing the blade made actually the other blade that we put on, the chatter was actually a little worse.
So when you really look at what happened here, you can see in this piece of wood that we got a significant amount of vibration as we cut down through this 4x4. I hope it shows up well on the camera. Just not good.
During the cut, you slowed the feed down a little bit, the chatter went away. You went to pick up or force the saw a little bit, the chatter came back. Don't really know the answer of why.
So there's a lot of good, a lot of bad, a little bit of ugly, and there's gonna be some things that are just gonna stop some people from buying this saw, and we're trying to help you guys through it. So again, as always, we welcome a lot of your comments in the bottom. We'll try to have shown you most of what's going on here, but what do you think?
I mean, we're looking at it, giving you our opinion on it. Your opinion, my opinion, everybody's gonna vary. The biggest thing I see in it is the price. It's up there.
I think that they tried to come out with a saw that's made in China and hit everyone's everything. And they just missed it with the bit of fence and accuracy. But they tried to give you a big saw that's got a lot of power, that has some great accuracy, and they ended up trying to make a trim saw that came out to be a framing saw or a deck saw.
You can't beat the power of this worm motor. And the precision of the turret knocks it out of the park, but there's just a couple other things to it that...
No matter how precise your miter is, your fence is not square or adjustable to be square.
It makes your miter off.
How does that help?
It doesn't.
And then when you get to the fact of you're spending a ton of money, you have a saw that's really only usable outside, due to the pitch. And I guess that's going to be something, if one of you guys has this, let us know what you think about inside. But when we got complaints right off the bat in the first 15 minutes of using it, that tells me that not a lot of job sites are going to be too thrilled to have this guy sitting there when you have multiple trades working.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking residential like we were in, it's a quieter job site. If you're talking commercial where there's a lot more noise going around, you're probably not going to notice it.
They may not care.
It's a where and when you're using this saw kind of thing.
The other thing that came up, which is going to be obvious to anyone who has a worm drive saw, is there's obviously no belts. It's gearing inside of here, and there is oil. Now, in the past, I've got my grandpa's saw, you've got your saw, and the other guys, everyone that we talk to has somebody's saw, their dad's, that's a worm drive saw. And nobody's changed oil, although you should. And in this case, the only thing that scares me a little bit is if you get me leaking. If you get me leaking, it's going to leak down on your wood or your project and or all the
But if it's
table.
leaking that amount, you've got problems that you have to address anyways.
Right, so it's not just a belt you're going to replace, although most belts seem to last for a long time. This is going to be a full all on out issue. I don't think that's a big thing. It's just something that was brought up while we were talking about it, something worth talking about here. This is also not a light saw.
No, it's not. You can tell there's some weight there.
Which I like. It's magnesium housing up top, you got aluminum on the bottom.
It's well built. I mean, head deflection, everything there is tight. So
it's just too bad that we had a couple issues with the fence.
If they would have spent a little bit more time developing that part.
And there has to be something that they could do to the motor, because we pulled out our saw squatch, 10 1/4 inch, and it's still loud, but it doesn't have that pitch,
that
that
engine
squeal.
firing up.
Yeah, there's got to be something to do with either the longer shaft or whatever it is with the blade. It did it no matter how, and then that chatter. I'm still stuck on if someone was using this on hardwood in a residential or commercial setting and they had some thick hardwood to go through, they would not be thrilled with that cut.
No, it would take, you can't just go at it. You've got to go slow.
Real slow.
And I mean, it's different now that you're aware of the chatter, but if you weren't, you probably would have ruined that first cut.
Oh, without a doubt.
So,
without a doubt. It was very obvious of whatever's vibrating in here. If we have an arbor that maybe is not perfectly square, if there's something else that's a little bit loose inside there, if there's a bearing or something, because it kind of came on all of a sudden.
Right.
And if we got something in there that's loose after the amount of use, we cannot answer that for you. If someone has more experience with chatter and why this happens, we would love to hear it below. We've not torn this thing apart. The only thing that I feel is weird, this is a great sized dust bag. There is no great options, but we have it turned out now, and it's not supposed to be that far out, and it seems like it doesn't collect dust as well in the position that we had it. You have to kind of dial this guy down and back for it to really collect dust well.
and the only problem that when you're making certain bevels or miters, it'll get pinched back here, so you got to move it out of the way. I mean, it's move it here, move it there.
It is what it is. You can hook a vacuum to it. It will work fine if you have a 2 1/4 inch vacuum. There's a lot of good here. So if you're out building decks, I think if you can get over the price and a few other things here, you might be really satisfied with it. Maybe we have one that's off. I don't know. I have not watched anyone else's review on this. I don't know if they think it's the best thing since sliced bread. This one, definitely not.
Yes, there's a little bit of finesse involved with using it.
So maybe soon they'll come on sale. Maybe the prices get a little better. It'll be a little bit easier to get into. I don't know. The price we got was from toolnut.com. That was just the first place that came up that we found one for sale. Other than that, man, leave us your comments. Tell us what you think about this guy. Would you buy it? Thanks for your comments, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give us a like in this video. Hit the bell for notifications. Check out some of our other videos. Give us some comments on that. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.